Welcome, everyone. Let's do a short yoga practice together. And I'd like to invite you to really engage in this practice with all levels of yourself. So, we're going to be working with your body, we'll also be working with your mind, different aspects of your mind and your attention. And I encourage you to really engage in observing and studying yourself as we go through this practice and using what you notice as a guide as we go through the process. We'll be doing some breath work, we'll be doing some mindful awareness practices, and we'll be working with some movement in your body as well. This will be a practice that's done lying down on your back if you can. If you need to prop yourself up a little bit, feel free. And if the floor is not accessible to you, you could absolutely do it on a bed as well. That's a little bit of a softer surface. So it's not going to feel exactly the same, but sometimes that's what works best. So feel free to meet those needs for yourself. Go ahead and find somewhere you can lie down and start to get settled on your back. I'm going to stay seated for the first portion of the practice as it's just easier for me to talk and guide you. I will lie down once we get into some more movement and demonstrate for you. So no worries about that. As you're lying down, see what you can do to get even maybe a little more comfortable. So you might add a pillow under your head. You could stretch your legs out long, or you could bend your knees and put your feet on the floor, or you could even slide a pillow underneath your knees if you've got one. And keep seeing where maybe you can make those little adjustments to be a little more comfortable. I'm going to invite you to really focus your attention in your body, just feeling what you're experiencing as we go through. If it helps you to close your eyes, you're welcome to do that, but you don't have to. If you'd rather have your eyes open, no worries at all. Just bring most of your attention into what's happening in your inner experience, your own inner world. We'll start by noticing the places where your body is in contact with the floor or the furniture or whatever supports you underneath. Maybe it's some yoga props. And see if there's anywhere you can relax a little bit more, get a little heavier, so that your body is really working towards receiving that support from underneath as much as is possible for you right now. No need to force anything to happen. Notice places where you're feeling more sensation in your body. These places are usually not comfortable, and that's because these are places where your body's trying to get your attention. So that alert within your body can feel like pain or tension or other kinds of discomfort. And if you know how to support yourself better, so those areas that you're really feeling the most would feel better, please feel free to do those things. Ultimately, this is a practice where we respond to what we feel in our bodies. That piece is really important. Notice your energy level right now. Does it feel really good to lie down? Or are you kind of feeling restless, like you need to get moving? Or somewhere else, somewhere in between? Right? What is the flavor, the mood that is present in this moment for you? Maybe there are thoughts moving through your mind, and that is the function of mind, totally normal. So you might notice that as part of your inner landscape, your inner experience. And keep bringing your mind back to being curious about what you're feeling in your body. We're just going to stick in the body for right now, allowing thoughts to come and go and just be part of your overall experience if you can. And then tune into your breath just as it is. See if you can Not rush to make your breath happen a particular way, but just tune into how it's feeling as you are in this moment. Maybe you slow your breath down a little bit. And finding a comfortable inhale, maybe a little slower, maybe even a little deeper than you began. If you would like to experiment with your breath a bit today, you're just going to count the length of that inhale breath. And then see if you can match the length of your exhale to the length of your inhale. So if you're inhaling for a count of 4, you're also going to exhale for a count of 4. Your count might be different. So you don't need to worry about the actual number itself. And you don't need to worry about being perfect. Just see if you could move towards the inhale and the exhale being about the same length, counting the length of your breath as you go. And if you get lost or distracted, just start again with the next breath. No worries at all. And take one more full cycle of breath after the one you're on, counting both your inhale and your exhale breath. Let your breath go back towards its natural rhythm. And then just check in and see if anything has shifted for you. Is there anything that feels different in your body that you were noticing before that's maybe changed? Is anything different about the activity in your mind, your level of energy, your mood, anything that you're experiencing? And it's okay if nothing's changed. Sometimes we have a preference, well, we certainly have a preference for positive change, right? And yet, it's more important to just notice what's happening, because whatever it is, something we prefer, something we don't prefer, or no change at all, it's really helpful information for us to have as we go through the practice, right? This is information you're getting about how the practices are working for you and what's going on inside your body mind system, right, as you practice yoga. So it's all good information. From here, we're going to do a little bit of movement. So if you have your legs extended, I would go ahead and bend your knees. Place your feet on the floor. And if you want to adjust any support that you have here with props or anything like that that's supporting your body, feel free to make those adjustments. We're going to have a comfortable distance between your feet and a comfortable distance between your heels and your sitting bones. There's no value here to stepping your feet really close to your hips, and in fact, that might make some parts of the movement challenging. So you're going to have a little bit of space here. And then we're going to try to keep the feet about in the same position on the mat. They're not going to slide in to touch each other, and they're not going to shift forward and back, but they may tip onto the outer edges of the feet as you move. So feel free to let that happen if that seems to happen naturally. We're going to take a moment here to just feel the feet sink into the floor. And then we're going to move your knees with your breath. So we're going to start with an inhale. And then as you exhale, let the knees come away from each other out to the sides. Only as far as feels good. And without sliding your feet in towards each other, your range of motion will be a little bit more restricted than if you do a traditional yoga posture where your feet slide in to touch. So that's normal if you're noticing that. We're going to use an inhale breath now to bring the knees back up towards the ceiling. And then you're just going to flow with your own breath here, letting the knees come out to the sides, away from one another. And letting the knees come back up towards the ceiling. And as you go, notice what you're feeling in your body. So you may feel your feet tipping onto the side. You may feel movement happening in your hip joints. If you're feeling any shifts happening in your low back, or your pelvic bones are shifting side to side or rocking a little bit on the ground, or you're noticing anything going on in your rib cage or your shoulders or your jaw, see if you can move your legs in a range where all that extra stuff doesn't have to happen. So we're just working on movement in the hips. And it's not because it's bad or wrong to move between your pelvis and your rib cage. It's just so that we can focus a little more on the hip movement. Really get your brain talking to your hips. We're really working on wiring, maybe rewiring the connection between your brain and your hips as we do this movement. Paying a lot of attention to what you notice, seeing if you can bring a real sense of quiet into the rest of the body as you just move your legs. And the next time your knees come up towards the ceiling, you're just going to pause there, let your feet settle onto the floor once again. And then you're going to bring your hands up towards the ceiling. You can bring the tips of your thumbs to touch, just like so. Or if you happen to have a strap or a towel or a shirt handy, you could hold that between your hands instead, just to keep your hands connected. So there's lots of options here. We're going to let your shoulders really settle down towards the floor. So there's a sense that the upper arm bone is really coming down onto the ground. And then we're going to take the fingers towards the wall behind you, but we're going to move very slow. And we're going to come right back up. And I'll ask you to pay attention to a couple of things here. The first thing is the sensations that you feel as you move. So we want this movement to be comfortable, yes. And even more than that, I'll ask you to look for a sense of ease. We want the movement to feel smooth. And ideally, for the whole movement, it's going to feel really doable. So you're not getting to a point where the arms are getting back and you're thinking, ooh, I'm not sure if I'm strong enough to bring the arms back up. Nothing like that. So we're looking for a really nice, easy feeling in the shoulders. And then bring your attention further down your body so that you're paying attention to the area around the bottom ribs, all the way down to your hips. And as you're doing this movement, look for that area to be really quiet. So there's no need to engage the abdominals, to brace through the belly. There's no arching of the spine or rocking of the rib cage or anything like that happening. Everything in the lower, it's not your lower body, but lower than the shoulders, is really, really quiet. And the movement here is very comfortable. And you're just seeing what it feels like if you move slowly through this range of motion. Maybe the available movement in your body is changing. Maybe it's not. You're just going to notice what you feel. And then you're going to let your arms come down and rest. And take a moment again, just like we did earlier, to see if anything shifted in how you feel. We'll do one more movement here. We're going to do a mini bridge lift. So you are going to lift your feet up off the ground. When we do this, you're going to want to keep your feet planted, your knees pointing up towards the ceiling. And we're going to look for movement to happen at your hips. We're also going to look for movement to happen at your shoulders. So your rib cage is going to lift up while your shoulder and upper arm stay down on the ground. And then I'm going to see if we can keep this space again between your ribs and your hips really quiet as you move. So I'm going to press into your upper arms, get really grounded through your shoulders, press into your feet, get really grounded through your feet, and then see if you can lift your hips up, letting your rib cage move with your hips, and slowly lower back down to the floor. Again, you're going to lift through the hips, let your rib cage come up as well, and then come all the way back down. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect. Mine probably is not, right? You're just going to see what you feel, and then you're going to notice, are you rocking onto the outer edges of the feet? Are your knees swaying side to side? Can you keep your feet evenly planted? Keep your shoulders and arms engaged, and allow the movement to happen at the hips and the shoulders. And then the next time your hips come down, let your hips rest. We'll take a moment here in whatever position you started in. So you might be knees bent, you might extend your legs. And we're going to take a few moments just to rest. And as you're in this resting position, whatever your starting position was, pay attention again to all the things you noticed in the beginning. So check in with your connection between your body and the surfaces that support you. See if anything's changed there. And then you're going to check in with any areas where you had sensation, seeing if any of those sensations have shifted. Notice your energy level, your mood, quality of your thoughts. And notice what's going on with your breath right now. Just making note of what's changed and what hasn't changed within the limits of your perception. If you have some time, I encourage you to take a few minutes here to rest in awareness and just observe, taking as long as you like. And if you need to move on, continue this awareness when you can as you go throughout your day, and start to notice what things are changing and why. This is really at the heart of yoga practice. Good work. Thank you for practicing with me, and take really good care.